Pretend I'm Tom Brady. Spending my Sundays losing to Kenny Pickett at half. Doing anything just to off of my mind. Yeah. But when game time comes, I keep getting sacked and thrown into the dirt. And trying to remember how to win a game. Jizzle, come back. Ooh, ooh, any kind of fool could see. There was something in everything about you.
I'm David Wood, and I do not support this message. John, rough way to start the episode by taking a shit on Tom Brady. He's going through a lot of hard times right now, both on the field and off the field. So, hopefully you can do some soul searching later tonight, and kind of see what's going on internally that makes you lash out on Tom Brady. But welcome back, everybody, to episode 9 of Amateur Hour Podcast. We welcome on special guest Jenna for her celebrating her second win of the season.
Second win.
Second win of the season, yeah. And she is sitting next to her lovely husband, Mike, who did not win this week. So I know a lot of you are shocked that he's on, but welcome aboard, Mike.
He got third.
I had to bring your biggest fan on the podcast. He was so jealous the first time. He just has to learn. I think he has to be here to learn from us, to see what it feels like to be a winner, and maybe he'll be able to come on by himself someday. But this may be his only chance, so he had to.
He's not going to learn anything about. He's not going to learn anything about winning from John or I. So.
That is true, but I do want to congratulate you. What's that, Mike?
I can only hope that to soak up the knowledge from this one sitting next to me, sitting atop the podium for not only this week but the entire Pick'em season.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I think we were talking. I think you got the first 12 games right. You didn't lose till the Giants, so that's pretty tough.
Yeah, and then I got all those wrong. Got the Giants, got the Packers, got the Bengals wrong, but up until then, all right. So that was exciting.
I think it was over before the Giants game because I think you were like 3 or 4 games ahead. So
yeah, I didn't want to text you guys, but I knew I had it in the bank. But I was like, no, they can figure it out. But
yeah, that was an excellent performance, I will say.
Thank you. But, yeah, I'm equally as impressed with myself because this week I genuinely was just like, I don't even remember picking. Like it was all a blur. So maybe I should just keep doing that.
Whatever
picking.
Whatever you're doing is working.
And then
he's so mad.
Mike got he tied for third, so he got $15. He made $5 this week. And then I got second. So we have 3 out of the top 4, and then shout out to Dan for getting tied for third for the second weekend straight, which is really impressive to do that 2 weeks in a row. So good for Dan. Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself for people that don't know you?
So I grew up in the suburbs of Green Bay, so in the shadow of Lambeau Field, as some would say, and then I met you guys at Drake. John and I lived on the same floor freshman year, and we all met through Phi Xen as well. So, and then Jen and I just got married this year, and we've been living in Minneapolis since the spring. So.
And you have not gone to a Vikings game yet?
No, I don't know if I don't think I will this season. But I did make it to the Packers-Patriots game this year at Lambeau. So that was a scary game, but we pulled it out. So, but yeah, a lifelong Packer fan, if that wasn't clear by growing up there. So.
We do think we're gonna go to the Packers-Vikings game at Lambeau though too on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, you are. Yeah, I think we're going to that one as well. So we'll have to meet up for sure. I didn't know you were planning on doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a risky one with the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it my last Packers game that I went to?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it was bad. So, bad season. Rodgers, like, I don't know, was he out
No.
that season? No. So he got in the game, second play of the game, he gets sacked and just goes out, like just got hurt right away. We were playing the Lions and we are already out of the playoffs. And so I was like, whatever, we might beat the Lions. Like, it'll be fun. It was -20. So we're just like bundled up and he goes out. We did not score a point. Zero, flat zero on the scoreboard. It was horrible. And I danced between every break, like when they put the music on, because I was so cold. And everyone was like, she's having a great time. And I was like, I'm just so cold right now. It's the only thing that I can do. And of course, he's like, we have to stay through the whole game. So of course, stay through the whole game. Zero, just not goose egg, nothing. And we lost to the Lions. So that was my last Packers game. So hopefully we can redeem ourselves. Not looking great for Vikings, but we'll see.
Was that your first one?
No, I'm very privileged. I think that was my third one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I hope the Vikings game doesn't go that way, but the season is trending that direction, so it'll just be very interesting to watch. So we had the pick'em results. How did we do on lock of the week for last week, Dave?
Not great.
I had the Vikings -3.5 versus the Cardinals. They covered.
Nice.
You had Jets +1.5 versus the Patriots. They did not cover. And the Joey D's had the Giants +2.5 at Seattle. They did not cover. So I'm 5-3 on the year. You're 4-4, and the guess is 2-5.
Okay.
I would like to mention I got the lock. But remember last time I was there, I mean, it was only one guest got it right, and then I got that second week. So we'll see about this week's lock if I can get it. But
It's funny. John did call the lock. He said, "I'm cheering with Tyler Soman," and David said, "David, you also thought that's a great pick. The Jets +1.5." And then you said, "Does that make you nervous that we both think that's a great pick?" And you said, "Yes, it does."
That's how it worked out. So
Yeah.
I'm going back to the reverse psychology method, Dave. I just don't.
no,
I'll just
Really?
try to explain it. And if you look, Dave, and you say that's a terrible pick, then I know we're in good shape.
Did you pick your picks this week, or did Carlo?
Yeah, I already picked it. Yeah, so I'm just kidding. And I do actually believe that this team will win.
Your picks this past week when you took second place, first week in the podium. Did Carlo take your picks this week, or did you pick them?
I picked them, and I actually picked what I thought.
nice.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna go back to reverse psychology. That makes a lot of sense.
No, I'm not. I was just kidding. That was a joke. So just a throw in little joke, you know.
It's not funny. You can't be trusted.
No, I can't. But I don't mean to harm the integrity of the pick'em. That was never my intent, David. I just wanted to get the locks right for the people and the loyalists.
You're
Okay.
just like you remind me of like the lizard from the Bible that tricks her to eat the forbidden fruit. You know, that's
The
what you
snake.
remind me of. Yeah.
The
Well,
snake.
it had legs, and then God ripped its legs off after he tricked Eve.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, snakes had
Oh.
legs before that snake.
God,
What?
this is a Bible lesson.
That's
Fun
true.
fact. Fun Bible
Yeah.
facts. Snakes had
Wow, so
legs.
that's how the
Bible
snakes
facts.
lost
Is that
their
a new
legs.
segment of this show?
Yeah, so that was God's punishment. He took away their legs for all snakes ever.
We should start doing a segment, Dave's Bible verse, and you could go over.
I don't know what verse it is. I just know that story.
Don't you think that'd be interesting, where you could find a cool
No.
verse?
I don't read the Bible. I don't know any Bible verses. I'm not
Okay.
a pastor.
All right, we'll scratch it. But just maybe think about it.
Stay tuned next week for John 3:16.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, Tim Tebow action going on.
Tim, yeah, you and Tim.
Speaking of Tim Tebow, check out my jersey this week. Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
Baker, this was a tough jersey to own after the Baker saga unfolded. But I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. I think he's a cool guy. He likes to play with a chip on his shoulder. He's a Heisman winner. I love college football. So it didn't work out for him in Cleveland, but I'm rocking the Cleveland jersey because they played very well on Monday Night Football against the Bengals and humiliated the Bengals really. So they deserve to be, shown on this podcast. So here you go, Bengals.
Yeah. Did you guys watch that game, Mike and Jenna?
We did. Yep.
Do you think the Bengals are a good team? What's your assessment on the Bengals after that game?
I still think they are. I think they have potential. I mean, like Joe Burrow is the team. I still think he's a good quarterback, but that was embarrassing and so boring. Like I was like, I am bored. I need to go to bed. I don't care about this anymore. What do you think?
I personally don't think they're a good team. I mean, their offensive line, they can't run the ball, and then their offensive line can't protect Joe Burrow. And you've got teams dropping 7, 8 guys in coverage every play. And especially with Jamar Chase out right now for probably another 2, maybe even 3 weeks. They got the bye coming up, but it's really not looking good for their offense.
I think that's
We
a
were watching
good take.
the Manning cast. I just enjoy that more on Monday night. And they mentioned that Joe Burrow basically said in his interviews at some point that like Cleveland's a really boring city.
Cincinnati,
sorry, yeah, Cincinnati is a really boring city that he has nothing to do other than win football games. And it's like, I mean, I get the sentiment, but like, whoa, I don't know if like Cincinnati fans are gonna love that. Like, I hate this city, but I'm just gonna win football.
He almost like pulled an Eli Manning and refused to play for them. Actually, I don't know if a lot of people know that, but he was picked number 1 overall and like almost refused to play for the Bengals and demanded a trade. But he ended up playing for him, and they went to the Super Bowl in his second season. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
wow.
What did Eli Manning do? I'm not familiar with that story.
Eli Manning was picked number 1 overall by the Chargers, and then he demanded a trade and said he refused to play for them. So he traded Phillip Rivers for Eli Manning straight up.
During the draft.
Swap picks like during the draft.
Yeah.
Why
And the
wouldn't he
rest
want
is
to go
history.
there?
Well, they're kind of a shit franchise back then, I think.
I think they were still new too, or relatively new. Yeah.
They're like relatively new. I think like in San Diego, at least they're pretty new, and they just weren't very good. And I don't remember why he maybe wanted to stay on the East Coast or something, but he just didn't want to play. I mean, they had the number 1 overall pick, so obviously they weren't good. And I think he was just like, I don't know. I don't know why Eli Manning thought he was like the greatest thing since sliced bread and could do that, but it worked out. 2 Super Bowls.
2 Super Bowls. Yep. Yeah, it just didn't end well.
Phillip Rivers goose egg.
Goose egg, yeah. Well, Phillip almost had that when he was at the Colts that one year. Remember, didn't they make the? Did they win one game in the playoffs, or did they just get to the wild card game?
Wild card, I think.
I think
Okay,
they just made it.
it's the Rivers curse. Did he ever win a playoff game?
Yeah, he won playoff games.
He did.
Yeah, he was in the era of like Peyton Manning, Roethlisberger, and Brady, so that's like a really tough gauntlet to get through.
Mhm.
But I think he and LT made it to the playoffs and won a game or 2.
Yeah, they lost in 1 or 2 AFC championships, I think, even.
Oh, go Phillip. Yeah, I think. I guess I'm surprised at Eli Manning because he doesn't seem like that type of guy, but maybe he just is.
It's been like 30 years, so things change, I guess, over time.
I did make Michael look up where the both Manning brothers live now, because I was just like, because they're like obviously not together on the cast. I'm like, I just need to know. He lives in New Jersey, so you might be right about the East Coast thing. He just like loves the East Coast, needs to be there, but
yeah, it could be. I don't know, but you got to think at that point he's like a 21-year-old college grad or college kid, and he's coming out like thinking his shit don't stink. So they think they can just start making demands. I guess I don't know.
Boy, he does that, and then you have like a wide receiver like Elijah Moore say he wants out of the Jets, and everyone's in uproar. But Eli Manning does it, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we understand Eli."
Yeah, different era, I guess.
I don't know, bullshit. What are you guys drinking tonight?
I am drinking an Utapils Ewald the Wild Man. It's a dry hop Hefeweizen.
Mm.
it doesn't smell great.
Kind of doesn't like the smell of beer.
I'm drinking a sparkling water from Trader Joe's.
Oh, nice.
I drank too much this weekend, and so we're staying away from alcohol until this weekend. We have a wedding, so then we'll indulge.
Dave,
Charging up. Cool Blue Gatorade.
nice.
Love it.
And then I have a H2O in a McDonald's cup. I use McDonald's cup.
David, I just saw a really good Halloween costume. A bunch of people were different Gatorades, and they all like made the like looked like they were stuck together as a package with like what is that called?
I don't know what the
the
plastic
6-ring
pipe
plastic.
Yeah.
The plastic that
Yeah.
strangles ducks.
Right. Yeah. Exactly that.
That's a pretty good. But then did they had to move together? You think like if one had to take a piss, the other would like sit outside the stall?
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok. They were like all moving together. Of course, I think they took it off eventually, but it was funny.
That's a good
Speaking
one.
of, what was everyone for Halloween?
Oh yeah, we went as a
Sunday.
Teletubbies.
Oh, sorry.
Dave didn't dress up, but you guys should share what you were, because you had 2 different outfits, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, go ahead.
We did.
Well, I was just thinking we could have dressed up as a duck with the plastic around it. We went to a climate change fundraiser / music video shoot on Friday
Slash
night.
Halloween.
/ Halloween party. So Jenna dressed up as greenhouse gas with a green dress and a house on her head and then balloons. And then I dressed up as Al Gore, emphasis on the gore, with like gore cuts in my head and face.
Creative.
Yeah, for the climate change theme.
Yeah. And then we were Mario and Luigi with, I feel like I shout them out every time I'm on here, with the Volmers. They were Wario and Waluigi, so it was the 4 of us.
Oh, I thought you went as Peach for some reason, but you were Mario and Luigi?
No, I was Mario.
Okay,
I was
okay.
the head of the gang.
That's right.
Wow. And
Yeah.
Wario and Waluigi are the bad guys, right?
Yeah,
Nice. So you guys were the good guys.
obviously.
Awesome. Did it go over well? Did people like the costume?
It was good.
Dave, and you and Jackie didn't do any dressing up?
No dressing up. Nope, not a Halloween guy.
Okay, that's all right. Let's do the relationship report card. I forgot about that.
I don't have that, so you can skip me.
Okay. Do you guys want to go or I'll go?
You go first, John.
Okay. Carla's gave me an 8 out of 10 for getting her froyo and then coming up with the idea for the Halloween costume. And then I lost points because I was ignoring her and playing my Nintendo Switch.
What'd you do for the idea of the Halloween costume? Look at my Instagram.
No, I didn't do that. I came up with it on my own.
Wow.
Very, very unique, David. Original.
Yeah.
So I'm giving Jenna a 9 out of 10 this week. And a lot of it has to do with some of what we just talked about. She really put together those Halloween costume ideas. She ordered the stuff on Amazon that we needed and helped me put the gore on my face and name tag stuff and all that. So that really was big this week, and also helped with groceries and some other stuff. So yeah.
I don't get any props for including you in this.
I gave you a 9 out of 10 and she's begging for more.
Yeah, that's got to be worth
Oh,
it.
it's appreciated.
I
It's
stuck my
appreciated.
neck out for you.
Thank you for getting me an invite onto the podcast.
She was only thinking of you,
9.5
Mike.
out.
Oh yeah.
I give Michael a 9 out of 10 as well. I was gonna give blood on Thursday. He said he would just come with me, which was also very nice, but then I convinced him to also give blood. So I just felt it was like a little date night to give blood. That was nice.
Wow.
And then I was really grumpy and hungover Saturday before our second party, and he let me sleep and gave me space. And then I woke up and he was like, I'm gonna go get a sushi and drop the dog off at your parents' house. And wow, that was up there. So 9 out of 10, baby.
Good deal.
So
9 out of 10s. Wow.
who wins out though? Who is the better significant other? Jenna?
Me.
Oh,
I got a 9.5.
giving herself points over here. Just to be clear, it's not always 9s out of 10s at the Harvey Shelton household. So I don't want to put on definitely 7 and 6 weeks out there.
Yeah, we were a little grumpy before this podcast to each
That's
other,
all right.
and now we're here and we're happy. So
Wow, it's raised your spirits being on camera together. That's excellent. Okay, well, good job to both of you this week on your significant other performance. I think Mike, even though you did tie for third, I think that's something to be proud of. That's probably more important. Right, Dave?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Welcome to the winner's podium.
Okay. And then I don't know if you said, Dave, the big baller of the week results from last week.
Yeah, from last week I had Tyler Boyd. He played on Monday Night Football. I needed about 18 points from him to win my league. He had about 11.5, so still had a good week, I think, just not a BBW enough for me. And then John had Terry McLaurin, pretty quiet all day until that like 50-yard reception at the end of the game, but doesn't matter, just about the stat sheet at the end of the game. So I would say he had a medium baller of the week. And then Devontae Adams from Joey D's was an absolute turd.
That was a
So
curse.
that's two Devontae Adams turds in a row that not in a row, but that the guest picked that really struggled. So rough pick from Joe
He had
there.
he had 1 reception for 3 yards and 1 carry for -1 yards.
Oh
Yeah, rough
my!
week.
I didn't know that. Do you
Like-
have him on your team?
No.
Oh,
The Raiders had a terrible week offensively. So
That was a surprise. Let's lead into that. What was your guys' surprise games of the week?
I was gonna say, I mean, that was a big surprise for me. Saints, I picked the Saints to cover, but 24-0. Anytime you see a 0, especially from an offense like the Raiders that really had been putting up points this year, that was a big surprise to just get the goose egg from Andy Dalton, no less.
well, clearly none really surprised me. I'm kidding. No, I know we talked about it and we don't have to talk anymore, but I really did think the Bengals were going to win. I did not think the Browns were going to take it. So that was probably my surprise of the week.
Yeah,
I
that's a
would
good one.
I'd have to go with the Giants Seattle game. I was pretty surprised. I think the Giants have been playing well all year. The Seahawks have been playing well lately too, so I can't say they haven't. But I figured that would at least be a close game, and the Seahawks kind of blew them out. So
Yeah,
John?
all good ones. I would say I was surprised that the Packers covered their 10.5-point underdog
John,
spread.
you called it. You called it literally on Sunday. You said Packers lose by 10.
And they
On the
did,
podcast.
and it was all garbage time, and it was a lucky call. But I was surprised that I think the Bills only scored 3 points in the second half. But holy shit, is that a scary offense? Just watching that. We'll talk about it later, but just watching that game, I was just ready for an 80-yard touchdown on any play. So it was quite frightening. There's definitely a large difference in the top teams in the league and the middle bottom to bottom feeders. So that was very surprising. And then fantasy football wise, top 5 leaders: Alvin Kamara had 43 points, Christian McCaffrey had 40 points, AJ Brown with 40, Derrick Henry with 36, and DeAndre Hopkins second game back with 34 points. So Christian McCaffrey balled out. I don't know if you guys witnessed that, but I think he had a rushing, a passing, and the receiving touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think the 49ers look a lot more scary with him on the team as well. Any thoughts on that?
Definitely adds like some versatility to their play calling, I would say. I think they're using him really well. I think it'll help his longevity because they're not like, even though you look at that game and look at his stats from his game, he was like really successful, but they weren't necessarily like putting their whole offense through McCaffrey like the Panthers would. And I think that puts a lot of like strain on someone's body. So I think like having some other guys that can take some of the like stress and workload off of him in San Fran will help him a lot, like longevity wise.
Yeah, speaking of that, Elijah Mitchell is supposed to come back pretty soon. I mean, he's been out since week 1 or 2. I think he got injured week 1, was put on IR right away for 2 months. And so he should be getting healthy and allow to take some reps off of CMC and allow him to get the rest he might need to stay healthy for the full season.
Yeah, I think nowadays it seems like a lot of NFL teams are looking for not like a full 50-50 split maybe, but like 80-20, or just to give the star back a little break. I mean, it's pretty rare. I guess I didn't realize it until I started doing fantasy this year again, but there's like very few running backs who are the guy and they're out there 90% of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Derrick Henry. Who else? Saquon.
And even Derrick Henry, they're putting Dontrell Hilliard out there on third downs to catch passes, and I think the NFL just realizes that it's a different league. It's more of a passing league, so they want running backs that can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
And you also just realize that if you put all your chips in one basket and then that person gets hurt, your whole team's kind of screwed. So I think they're trying to just like spread the love a little bit, which it kind of takes away from the star running back role that maybe we saw a few years ago and for the past few decades. But I think it's good for the overall like offensive development not to rely on one guy every down.
Do you think that's like because it's like at the end of the day it's all about like making money for these teams, or do you think there's like a wholesome side of it, like we need to keep our guys healthy, or is it like you said, David, this guy gets out, we're screwed. We're not going to win any more games. We're not going to make money.
I think it's a little bit of
just like this conversation around sports about like mental well-being, physical well-being that I don't think has been there. And I think the NFL is a little bit slow on that. I mean, look at Tua, but like, is there a wholesome side to it, or is it a business decision?
I gotta say, not to burst your bubble, but I think it's more of like a business side of things where I don't think they really care all that much about like someone getting hurt for like them getting hurt. I think they don't want Tennessee doesn't want Derrick Henry to get hurt because number one, he's their whole offense. If he's out, they're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
They're not going to have as many people buying tickets to the games to go see him. They're going to lose Derrick Henry jersey sales, like all these different things that lead to just like spiraling down the toilet bowl. So I think they're not really caring about like, oh, Derrick Henry, you know what? We don't want him to get injured and have a long, hard rehab and have a difficult time emotionally. Like I think they're like, we need his ass out there to sell tickets, to sell jerseys, and to win games.
I absolutely agree with you. I wish I didn't, but I think it's all business. And I think most, if we talk about NBA or women's sports or something like that, it's the same, but it does feel like there's more pressure from the fans to try and have our teams care about our players more, but it at the end of the day is a business decision. Sure.
Right, more pressure from the fans to win games. That's the sad part of it, but these split backfields make it tough as a fantasy football owner because you're having to pick between and trying to determine who's going to have the hot hand. You look at the Bears and Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery. It's like I feel like they're going back and forth, up and down between who's the lead ball carrier, and one's going to have a breakout game, and then the other one will have 4 or 5 points, and it flips the next week.
Yeah, and you can avoid carrying or worrying about that if you just draft Cam Akers, right, Mike? Like you and I did.
Oh yeah. I drafted Elijah Mitchell, Cam Akers, all the great running backs, and just left trying to start, Chuba Hubbard and whoever else I can pick up off the waiver wire. So.
Yeah, that's where.
Tell them about your fantasy football. I guess we could. You guys run the show, but his fantasy life is not quite as good as his pigskin as luck.
So I did actually want to touch on that because if you could explain, Mike, what the punishment is for taking last in your league, and if you're looking like you're going to be in that, if you're going to be fighting for that last spot, or how that's going to turn out.
Yeah, so right now I'm in a 10-team league, and it's super flex, and I am 2-6, right? Because we just finished week 8.
Yep.
So not looking too great. Tied for last at 2-6, and the last place team, the loser of the toilet bowl, has to do the IHOP challenge, where you have to spend 24 hours in an IHOP, but you get to take off an hour for every 2 pancakes that you eat. And so
every 2, not even as 1.
No, yeah. So I'd have to eat like 48 pancakes, or 40 pancakes realistically to only spend 4 hours in an IHOP on a day off. So really trying not to do that. So doing some weird fantasy things like picking up people who have really good week 15 matchups, just in case. And it's not been great, but a lot of injuries, but everyone's dealing with injuries, so we're gonna try to overcome it.
Yeah, because you basically don't have to. It doesn't really matter what your regular season record is. You just those last like 2 weeks when the playoffs are in the toilet bowl, you can't shit the bed. You just need one guy to score like 25 points for you. they would
That's-
lose him.
Yeah, so if Jamar Chase could get healthy, if Rashad Bateman could get healthy, if Elijah Mitchell could come back off of IR and just really cutting into CMC's workload, I might have a halfway decent team.
You got the Harveys got to upgrade their Wi-Fi. You guys got shitty Wi-Fi.
Bro, I work from home and I have great Wi-Fi. I don't know.
It could be mine
Maybe it's just
screwing
the
it up.
key.
I don't know. Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I just
But-
feel like it might be.
That's something, Mike, that my league has struggled with. Like I'm in 3 leagues, but one league is like my really important one that I kind of put all my like eggs in one basket on. That's the one from like people from back home. It's like year 12 or something that we've done it. And we have a punishment. We've been trying to decide last couple of years, like, do you do the last place after the regular season or do you do the toilet bowl loser? And I've always been an advocate of the last place in the regular season because like that means the guy who took like 7th could have the punishment. I think that's bullshit. Like if you just have a bad 2 weeks at the end of the year, you get screwed. Like that's not fair. I don't think. But then I do think that having the toilet bowl rule encourages people to like try it through the whole entire year. So I don't
That's
know.
why we implemented it. Yeah, because you otherwise you have people starting players on buys. You have people who drop off, especially week 9, week 10, where you already know you're pretty much out. Or you have people making trades that are maybe not the most realistic trades. It's like, listen, if you're in it to win it, and or you don't want to lose, and there's all the motivation there. So
And we thought about like doing a punishment for both. So you have like maybe a big punishment for the guy that loses one thing, and then like a halfway bad punishment for the other thing. So kind of like making them both suffer.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's good.
I am pro toilet bowl this year only because I really don't want Michael to do it because it feels like it punishes me too. Like I have to go sit with him and I'm not doing it for 24 hours, but for a fair amount of hours to entertain him. And like, I don't know. Like I just really don't want him to
You don't have to. You're just saying that you feel like you need to. Like no one said you have to be punished.
David, are you married? There are just sacrifices you have to make. I know that after 6 weeks of being married.
You shouldn't have to suffer for his shitty fantasy team.
Yeah, you weren't there when he drafted his
I
shithole.
suffer every week because I have to hear about it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that's
weird.
suffering enough. You shouldn't have to go to IHOP with him.
I know. Well,
Mike,
we'll
how is
report back.
are there pretty good Pokemon by the IHOP?
Oh, I don't know. I might have to scope out a good IHOP with the,
You better-
the
you better
Pokemon
look
team
it up.
near it or something.
You gotta
We did
find
the-
the breakfast place that has the smallest pancakes.
We did the IHOP challenge for our thing, our punishment last year. Shout out Brad Lockman, the biggest loser. But we did 12 hours and 1 pancake takes off an hour.
That's fair.
I can do 12 pancakes in like 2-3 hours.
They're big boys though. He ate a couple initially and then he gassed out and he just had to sit there and wait because when you get full off those big pancakes, then you can't really shove more down.
That's true.
I can't believe it's 2 for an hour. Like I just feel like 1 an hour is sick. It's fair.
Yeah,
I like
if you're doing 24 hours, it should be 1 an hour for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty. I don't know who came up with that, but it's a little.
Well, I wasn't worried about losing when I said, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. And then the guy who took last place by a mile last year is undefeated, 7-0. Guy's never freaking gotten into the playoffs in fantasy in the last 10 years that we've been doing this league. And now he's 7-0 and he has 3 Browns. He starts Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and Amari Cooper. Is that right?
Yep.
He starts them every single week, all 3 of them. And then he starts 2 Chiefs players. I forget which ones every single week. Yeah. And it's like, and he's just destroying everyone except for now the Chiefs are on bye, I think, right? I think so he's got a chance. Patrick Mahomes might not go off, or he's not going to go off for him.
Last week they were on bye this week.
Or so maybe the Browns or the Browns are on bye this week, so he's going to be missing those 3 starters or something like that.
That could be. Yeah, that could be.
You all have to take a page out of our book, know nothing about football, and you're just gonna win.
You know more about football than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, clearly you know something if you're winning. I mean, so you're $60 in the profit, and it's not even halfway through the season, so that's pretty good. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Paying for that wedding.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Keep winning. Keep winning. Then you can quit your job and just do
There you
pick
go.
'em. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Bears game, Dave?
I mean, not really. I think it's kind of same old story. I think for the Bears, the defense looked terrible, but I was happy with the offense putting up 29 points, and they had 33 last week. So 2 good offensive weeks in a row, which I'm happy about. I feel
Yeah.
like they're changing their scheme a little bit, and it's been working out pretty well in the Bears' favor offensively. Just traded for Chase Claypool, which will help on the offensive side of things. But I don't love giving up a second round pick for him. And then we traded like Roquan Smith, who was my favorite player on defense. So that's a tough loss. You kind of lose the heart and soul of the team. But I think admitting, we don't think we're gonna get Roquan back. We're really in like a let's build cap space, let's get draft picks kind of a rebuild, and hoping that some of those few small core players like Darnell Mooney, Justin Fields, those guys can build a good team in the next few years. So I guess we'll see, hand the keys over to the new GM and Matt Eberflus, the new coach, and kind of see what happens.
Hey, David, I have a question. When have the Bears not been in a rebuilding phase?
I would say 4 years ago, 2018, when we made it to the playoffs, and we're supposed
Fair,
to
okay.
make it pretty far, So I would say after that year, we kind of realized that Mitch might not be the answer, and then we started kind of the rebuild all over again. But in the NFL, a lot of times rebuilds are like a constant cycle, and like it takes a long time to get to the top of the mountain. And I think you see that a lot in a majority of the teams, and some teams are just always at the top of the mountain, like the Packers. But now they're tanking, and might be the start of that cycle of a rebuild. So
It might be. It
Say,
might be.
John, be
we'll see.
careful. Be careful throwing too many darts.
Absolutely. I talked about this last time I was with you all. I do think the Packers need to rebuild. I just have been a Packers fan for 8 years now, and like before that, I was a Vikings fan and never remember them being in a rebuild. Vikings were always right; they're always in a rebuild phase, except for right now. But I can't remember last time the Packers were. We were all of us were a lot younger when it was.
Well, it's a quarterback league, and the Packers have had a good quarterback for our entire lives, past like 24
lives.
years.
Yep.
So,
Are you guys of the camp where you think it's time to move on from Aaron Rodgers?
I think Rodgers is in the camp where it's time to move on from Aaron Rodgers.
I disagree. I don't think it's time to move on from Aaron Rodgers until you have somebody to replace him. Like it wasn't time to move on from Brett Favre until you had Aaron Rodgers ready to go. So I think you need to wait until you have an adequate guy ready to step in. I think, or otherwise you're going to have
completely.
that extended rebuild like the Bears have had.
Yeah.
I just think Aaron Rodgers is ready to move on.
You don't think he's excited?
No, I don't think he wants to stick around after what's going on this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's really his fault.
What?
No.
He's won back-to-back MVPs. It's hard to say that it's Rodgers' fault,
No, I don't think it is. But it's just after all the talk we heard last off season about, maybe Denver, maybe someone said, where does he want to go? I mean, obviously Denver's not going to get him next year, but it's like he could maybe San Fran will who knows? Like he's the kind of position where he can basically say, hey, I want to be on this team, and a lot of teams would be, stupid to not consider it at least.
I could see make tremendous leaps if they added Aaron Rodgers? The Saints.
Yeah.
You see the Saints with they've always had a really good defense the last few years. They have a lot of good offensive weapons. If you plugged in Aaron Rodgers to that offense and that team, they'd be pretty scary.
Yeah, a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes because they've been bounced between Winston and trying to not have him throw interceptions. Well, Rodgers traditionally doesn't throw interceptions, especially when it matters most.
Yeah. What about Rodgers to the Jets? Like Brett Favre, following in Brett Favre's footsteps?
No. I think the Jets still have a lot of holes. They've played well this year, but I still think they're more than a quarterback away from being like a really good team.
It's hard to argue. I mean, I don't.
If you're a Jets fan, you are nervous right now about Zach Wilson because he has not looked good like last week, and I don't think he looked great the week before that, but last week against the Patriots was not pretty, so that always makes you nervous having those kind of outings.
I don't think any of those second-year quarterbacks. I guess honestly, I would say Justin Fields probably looks the best out of them. I don't think Trevor Lawrence has been that great either. I mean, Mac Jones. Lawrence.
Trey Lance is out.
Trey
Trey
Lance has been
Lance.
injured the rest of the
Davis
season.
Mills.
Oh,
He
fuck.
sucks.
Yeah, Davis Mills. But I don't think there was much expectation with Davis Mills. I think probably Trevor Lawrence had like the highest expectation, you know?
Yeah, but Davis Mills has had like a pretty big, pretty long leash, I would say. He's like most quarterbacks don't get very long to start and see if like they can be the guy. And Davis Mills has had a pretty long opportunity there, I think.
Yeah. Mike and Jenna, what did you guys think of the Packers game?
I mean, pretty sad that we're like, oh, we only lost by 10.
Yeah, it's tough to take the small victory of, hey, we covered the spread. That's it's really I mean, right? Like, and I don't think a whole lot of Packers fans came into that game like, oh no, we're gonna win this game confidently. Like, we knew at the very best it was going to be a close game if we didn't get blown out, and that really hurts after losing 3 in a row before this week, right? So, yeah, it was. We were making stupid mistakes, right? You have our first round draft pick, Clay Walker, right, get ejected in the first quarter of the game for shoving a coach that didn't even do anything to him. Like, it just was the dumbest thing I've seen. Like, I literally was yelling at the TV to bench his ass anyway, because it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't know how many children tune into this. Forgive me for.
You can swear.
But literally, I was just like, it's a stupid mistake to be making, especially that early in the game. And then his other. Then we lost another linebacker to injury later that game, and so now all of a sudden we have our 2 best linebackers in theory out for the game, and then we lost Christian Watson on like the first quarter of the game too. So we were just dropping like flies. Our offense couldn't get it done, and then all of a sudden we just got these big holes on defense, and Buffalo was able to run it for 10, 15 yards just by running it right up the middle, and so that was just tough to watch.
Yeah. What would be a bright spot for you guys? What's one thing you're happy about, a bright little silver lining?
Go first.
The other rookie wide receiver, I think Toure had his first touchdown, right? So that was good to see. They were catching. Dobbs had some flashes of greatness. The commentators were talking about, like, Chris Collinsworth was talking about how Aaron Rodgers was telling people to make their mark, and
yeah, that was fun.
and
he did.
show the world what you can do. And it's like, I mean, we still lost by 10, but it was some good catches and stuff. So
I actually had hope after the first quarter. I was like, we might do this. We might do this. So I think that was a bright spot. I felt like optimistic during a Packers game, and I haven't for a while. So
then it was taken away in the second quarter. Huh?
I went to bed. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the defense in the second half, I would say, was the thing I was the brightest spot for me. But the first half, it was very, very hard to watch. And I know they had those guys out there kind of look like me and Dave, those linebackers that replaced Quay Walker, like, just scrubbed to the mat. I mean, I shouldn't make fun because I'm sure they'd beat the piss out of me if I met him in the street, but it just like was definitely a big difference and probably a little deflating when you have. I'll have to look up their names. I forget them, but it can't be like if you're a defensive coordinator, like, oh yeah, we're gonna have the third string linebacker cover this hole when the running back comes here. You couldn't have been too excited about that. So, Dave, did you watch the game? Did you have any hot takes or?
I don't have any hot takes, but my cheekbones are sore from sitting here listening to you guys just be seeing you down in the dumps just makes me smile. So
Yeah.
I hate the Packers with a burning passion, and I've seen you guys just gloat and celebrate for the past 20 years of my life. So it's fun to see them suck for 1 year, and I think that things are not looking great for the future either, which is even more hilarious for me. So yeah, I guess I'm just happy to be here, and it was a fun game to watch. I think the Packers, covered, and that was impressive. I thought maybe the Bills would kick their ass even worse, but they covered. You know what they say: good teams win, great teams cover. So shout out the Packers for that. But I think I saw the Bills kind of take their foot off the gas in the second half. I think Josh Allen got a little reckless, threw 2 picks, which good thing. Tip your cap to the Packers defense, but I think like in a more crucial game, I don't think you see Josh Allen like getting as recklessly as he was maybe down the stretch.
Do you think Jordan Love could be the next
No,
You don't think
I
so?
think Jordan Love sucks. I would take Chase Daniel over Jordan Love.
I don't know.
I would take Carson Wentz over Jordan Love.
No. Jordan Love's younger than Carson.
Name a quarterback, I'll tell you who I'll take over Jordan Love.
Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'd take Jimmy G over Jordan Love in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would too.
Jimmy G, baby. Let's do
I
it.
would too. Yeah, I think if the Packers lose to the Lions, I think that this is the end of the season. I think this is a kind of the tipping point. Like if you can't beat the Lions, I don't know who you can beat if you can't beat the Lions in the NFL.
And John, that's why it's my lock of the week.
Oh, yeah, okay, let's get into it. That's perfect. So Jenna, give us your lock of the week.
Yeah, I mean it's the Packers. They're -2.5, right? Michael's on the wrong.
3.5.
3.5? Yeah, we got it. Like you said, if we don't, oh my God, yikes, bad.
They're at Detroit, right?
Some faith into that and say we can do it.
You believe?
I believe.
I hope they give you at least one good quarter where you're optimistic. That would be very nice of them. They are at Detroit. Yes, they are 3.5-point favorites. Watch it be dirty.
That's a trap line. I can see the
Watch it be
Packers
dirty
squeaking
and
one out
they'll
by
win by 3,
3.
Jenna, and they'll just screw you out of your lock of the week.
No, I need to have faith in it. So
Yeah,
it's my
okay.
lock.
I believe too. I believe. Mike, what's yours?
We kind of talked about it already a little bit, but I think that Carolina at +8.5 at Cincinnati, even at Cincinnati, I think Carolina is going to cover that. I think that Cincinnati has some weaknesses that, especially now that they're on film for Carolina to exploit. I think Carolina will be able to run the ball with Chuba Hubbard and Deion Johnson, and they'll be able to get it done and at least not lose by more than 8. So
I like that pick.
Number 1, it's Deontay Foreman. Number 2,
Deontay
thanks
Foreman,
for playing.
I'm sorry.
But I'm not recording your pick of the week because you're not even a guest
No, I don't
officially
count.
on this podcast.
That's fair. I love it.
Mike, I do agree with you. So that worries me about this pick. Like that is my pick. I'm riding with the Panthers as well, but it worries me that we're on the same page.
That worries me now too.
Yeah, you should be worried, brother. Okay,
Yeah, see, I looked at that line and I kind of liked it too. But to make you feel, no, listen, to make you feel better, I envisioned my brain started envisioning like those old reels when they like spin the cycle and project onto the screen. I envisioned Cincinnati just like 2 weeks ago when they just demolished Atlanta at home. So I could see something like that happening again too. So I wouldn't chalk it up to
I'm just
Carolina.
Gonna say the 2-time winner here. I know I picked the Bengals at -8.5.
Oh, because you like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think at home, even though apparently he hates Cincinnati, he's gonna feel good.
Maybe he'll be thinking of all the better places he could be.
Right.
He's
like, I gotta win this football game so I can get out of here.
Yeah, that's true. Dave, what do you got?
I could see it being another bad week for me in the pick'em because I was looking through all the games. I didn't love really anything, but I think one game that I gravitated towards was the Chargers -2.5 at Atlanta. I think that's the Chargers haven't looked great this year, but coming off a bye, hopefully they can kind of get a little bit healthy, kind of figure things out, iron out some wrinkles they've had. Atlanta's played really well, so it's a battle of the Ducks quarterbacks. It's going to be a tough one for me emotionally, but I think the Chargers pull it out by more than 3.
Yep, and they are on the road, so they're crossing the country to go play in Georgia.
Yep.
All right.
That's why I said at Atlanta.
That's good. Yeah, you're torn, but you will be cheering for the Chargers because I know you like Marcus as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough one for me, I will say, but I guess I'll cheer for whichever one I click in the pick'ems, and it looks like it's the Chargers this week. So I guess I'll lean Chargers, but if Atlanta wins outright, I won't be sad.
Okay. Yeah, if Marcus runs all over him, you wouldn't mind that outcome.
Yeah, because I think Marcus Mariota's position as starting quarterback in this NFL league is not as strong as Herbert's is. So, I like Marcus Mariota to prove himself. So if he comes out and they play well against the Chargers, I won't be sad.
I just got to fact check something quick before I make my pick. Okay, yes. I am going to go with Eugene Smith and the Seahawks +1.5 at the Arizona Cardinals.
You already picked Carolina. I don't understand.
No, I didn't. No, I was just telling Mike that
He felt
I
good
like
about
the
it.
pick.
It wasn't
Yeah,
his lock. It wasn't his
yeah,
lock. It was just
yeah.
he
Knock it
also.
off. No, I'm rolling with Eugene Smith at the Cardinals. He looked great against the Giants. I think he's going to continue that. It is he may be the MVP candidate of the year. I would vote for him.
Big on
Ain't
the
right
away
back.
teams this week.
What's that?
We're big on the away teams. We all picked an away team.
Yeah, we like the away teams. Because I think the home teams that we all are playing against are shit. So I think that's where our confidence comes. Do you guys have do the Jenna Mike power couple have a big baller of the week for
Yeah,
fantasy?
Michael can pick our BBW for the week.
All right. I'm kind of tired of these BBWs of being like, I think CMC is gonna do well and stuff. So I'm gonna
Devontae
say
Adams.
Isaiah Likely, tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. I think it's gonna be a good week for him. I know Lamar loves dumping it off to the tight end, especially when he's about to scramble and gets the defense to bite on him. Then he dumps it off to the tight end. I think it's gonna be a big week for Likely with Mark Andrews out and also with Bateman out. So
Is Mark Andrews out officially?
I think he is trending towards. He might still be listed as questionable, but I don't think he's going to go.
Then if he's out, it's a good pick. I like that pick.
I like it as well. I'm gonna actually stick with the Ravens. I'm gonna go Devin Duvernay. He had 16 points last week with Rashad Bateman playing like 2 snaps, and the other options are Kenyon Drake and Gus Edwards and Isaiah Likely. So I think that they're going to work him into the offense. I think he actually rushed for a touchdown last week, so you might see that again. But I'm also going to stick with the Ravens offense and hope they do well Monday night.
Yeah, I screwed you on that one episode a couple weeks ago where you asked me who you should pick up, Latavius Murray or Kenyon Drake, and I said Kenyon Drake, and then he did terrible, so I apologize for that.
I got both.
Nice.
Because I have no running backs now.
I guess my BBW is going to be Brandon Cooks against the Eagles. Ooh. It's on Thursday Night Football, so you never know what will happen on Thursday Night Football, but I know the Eagles are going to be up a lot of points over the Texans, and the Texans are going to be having to pass a lot. So when you pass a lot, someone's got to catch the ball and have a lot of points, and I think that's going to be Brandon Cooks.
That's a very good pick. I like that pick. Yeah, I think it's at home, but the Eagles are favored by 13.5.
The Eagles have a really good secondary, which makes me nervous about that. But like I said, someone's got to be catching balls, and I think it's going to be Cooks.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you think the Eagles will win all of their games this year?
No. I think
when do they go down, John?
I think either Cowboys or Giants in one of the. But I don't think they're going to lose many games. I bet you they will end up at like 14-3.
Okay.
Maybe is what I would say.
David, what do you think?
I think they trip up once, and I think they go 16-1.
Whoa! Holy shit!
I haven't looked at their schedule to see who's going to do it, but I think that's my prediction without looking at the individual games.
Yeah,
I don't hate John's prediction of one of those division rivals, though.
I know for certain they will not trip up against the Packers when they play them around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
That will be another barn burner that we'll get to witness. Yeah, so they really don't have too hard of a schedule outside of their division. They play the Bears, the Colts, the Packers, the Titans, and the Saints outside of their division. So kind of
Titans are frisky. You never know.
Yeah, so
they're just not as stable. Like they're not,
I think it could be one of those games that they go in like looking past someone though. And the Titans could be that kind of team. Next thing you know, you blink an eye and Derrick Henry goes for 250 on you.
Yeah.
Don't you think they got to be looking like Kansas City's probably looking past them if Kansas City's 10.5-point favorites over the Titans this week?
I don't know.
I don't kiss and tell. I'm not telling who I'm picking.
It's tough. The Titans play a different
secrets.
kind of game, right? They play a different style of ball game than a lot of other teams. So packages that they have built with Derrick Henry, and they're not relying on Tannehill to get it done every week. So they kind of throw some weird things at you that not a lot of other teams do.
That's a good point. Did you guys like any of the trades that happened at the deadline, or do you know of any of them?
I did. It's also kind of a bummer to not see the Packers getting involved in anything, especially after seeing Watson go out. I don't know what we're thinking we're going to get on the free agent market or what, but
OBJ.
Yeah, but I mean, Naeem Hines, I think that's huge for him, and I mean, it's going to suck for the Colts. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that confident in Jonathan Taylor with the Colts, but big for Hines. I wish I had him on my fantasy team still, but I dropped his ass. So, but yeah, that's Claypool to the Bears. That is actually exciting. And then the biggest one that surprised me, right, was TJ Hawkinson going to the Vikings. That's super scary. So it's just a whole nother weapon in their offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were going to who was it? Conklin? Is that who number 84 on the Vikings that they're
TJ or Smith.
Irv Smith.
And Irv Smith, I think that Hawkinson's a huge upgrade there. So
yeah.
I think the Calvin Ridley trade surprised me to the Jaguars. That was kind of a weird trade. I feel bad for Calvin Ridley. He should be playing right now. I think it's really stupid that they suspended him the whole year. Like, you can beat your wife who may or may not be pregnant. You can have sex or like basically rape like 30 women and just have like 11-game suspension. And this guy gambles like $1,000 on the Falcons and they suspend him a whole year.
Falcons against the Jaguars.
Say it louder for the people in back, David.
The NFL
is this for ages. So
they advertise gambling every single sport, like every game that they play. So if anything, they should have like encouraged him because he was betting on the Falcons. Like, that's suicide right there. So
the NFL says treat women like shit. Don't care about your athletes, but please don't gamble.
Please don't gamble. Now, if he would have not bet on a Falcon game, would that have been a deal, or was it because he bet on a Falcon game?
No, because he wasn't even playing. It's just betting, period.
Betting in general. They're doing anything and everything they can to protect the integrity of the game, because if the integrity of the game is in question, then people won't bet on it, right? And that's a huge source of revenue for the NFL too, right? So
that's true.
They're protecting their own asses by trying to be harsh on bettors, but also it's like protect your image by being harsh on other people who are committing actual crimes in the U.S. legal system. So,
right, yeah.
Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins is a scary trade. The Dolphins' defense just got a whole lot better.
Oh yeah.
The Ravens' defense got a lot better with Roquan Smith next to Patrick Queen on that defense. So Kadarius Toney, it'll be interesting to see if he's anything on the Chiefs. He's a really talented player, but he's made of glass, kind of like Keenan Allen. So if he can get healthy, that'll be a nice pickup for them. But if not, then it's no big deal.
Did you see Tony's tweet about how he basically was insinuating that he wasn't actually injured? And that, like,
yeah, I don't believe that.
But he was like, people who this would be really funny if I was actually hurt that whole time or something like that. Yeah. And it's like, what are you trying to say? It's also crazy. All of the trades that we're talking about, there's a lot of talent leaving the NFC and all of it's going to the AFC. Obviously, there's some some stuff is coming back to the NFC and they'll get draft picks and stuff. But a lot of these players are leaving NFC teams to go to the AFC.
Yeah, I think my favorite is Chase Claypool because he's really young. And I think they had like really good wide receivers in Pittsburgh, but I think this will help Justin Fields a little bit, at least, Yeah,
they have shit receivers and they needed an upgrade. I think it sucks to give a second round pick, but it's a guy that you know what you're going to get out of him, as opposed to a pick where you don't know, what you're going to get or who you're going to get. And he's huge. He's like 6'4", I think. So he's like a good complement to Darnell Mooney, where he's like kind of a quicker wide receiver, and then Claypool's like a big threat.
Yeah, I think that's a good upgrade. So, anything else you guys have? Any other thoughts?
No, I want to go.
Okay. Hey, thank you guys for coming on. Congrats on the big week.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Another good week.
Yep. Congrats on the win, Mike. Congrats on third place. Hope you're proud of yourself. This has been episode 9 of Amateur Hour Podcast. Thank you for listening. That's all, folks.